Hello everyone, it's me once again, and I'm back with another Medieval 2 Siege, and I'm going to be playing as the Holy Roman Empire. My ally RM Chu 4 is going to be playing as the Turks, and we are going to be facing off against Scotland, commanded by Kochka 23, and the Papal States commanded by somebody else. And if you do know, if you're in the MT2W community, you'd know Kochka probably. He's a pretty well-known player, and he's going to be fighting against me. Not good. But I guess we could go through the armies. I have some dismounted feudal knights, some armored sergeants. Yeah, more armored sergeants. I have some crossbows. Yep, peasant crossbowmen, general's bodyguard, and some pike militia. And then there's also some dismounted, I have 2 units of Teutonic Knights as well, mounted up. And then I also have some Imperial Knights somewhere. And then I have one other thing, if I can find it. I might not be able to. It's a Serpentine cannon, so, you know. And then my Turkish friend is going to be playing with a lot of Janissary heavy infantry. These guys. He also brought a lot of Azabs and peasants and stuff like that, so like light infantry. And then he also has a bit of Hashashim, as well as his bodyguard, which is his only cavalry unit, I believe. We're going to fast forward this because this is going to take a while, as you could tell by the timer. So yeah, we're going to try and defend, and the rules were, I believe, around 20k each. Oh yeah, and he also has some Naftunes. How could I forget the Naftunes? Somewhere around there, about 20k, and then 1 RD per person. Yep, there it is. Or Basilisk, not the Serpentine. But yeah, aka the best artillery I can get, which is beastly looking at least. And then yeah, so peasants, Azabs, and 1 catapult. And then he also has some archers, Ottoman infantry, to stake up 2 of his alleyways, because he has 2 of those. There's Kochka over there. He brought 2 mortar. Well, he brought 2 pieces of artillery, a culverin and a mortar. So basically, he didn't follow the rules, which was kind of annoying. And but whatever. And he brought some noble Highland archers, noble pikemen, noble swordsmen, dismounted feudal knights, Highlanders, border horse, yeah, and his general's bodyguard. And his ally is basically spread out everywhere. This is Knight Killer 65XYZ. I'm just gonna call him Knight Killer. He's got dismounted broken lances, dismounted feudal knights, and 1 culverin, some Pavis crossbows, and that's basically his entire army, and except for some 2 units, I believe, of Swiss Guard. Yep, 2 units of, or no, just the 1 unit of Swiss Guard with their halberds, and they're all pretty much spread out along this wall. And so now we're going to fast forward again, because you've seen all of the armies. Yeah, so let's see if I can find those dismounted Imperials. Here they are. Yeah, carrying their maces with their pointed beak helmets. Pretty cool. And here's my Teutonic Knights, which are really good. They have maces for... They're like the Roman cataphracts, or like the Seleucids cataphracts from Rome 1. They've got like their lances, and then on top of that they have maces for close combat. And so the first thing I do is I take my pikemen and deploy them in the 2 lanes that were not covered by my allies' stakes over here, which sadly didn't do that much in the whole battle because they were pretty glitched out for whatever reason. And yeah, so they're just gonna break through all the gates and doors and such. Shut Piv. I really like this advisor because he's completely German. And so I basically took 3 of my 4 crossbowmen and put them on the gates to activate the towers, basically. and get some good shots off on these dismounted feudals. Get a few kills just to help out. And then we decided to, yeah, the Empire. Yeah, so then we decided to rush out this gate with all of our cavalry. So my 2 Teutonic Knights are coming as well. And then my ally is using his bodyguard. And gets a great charge off into the side of these feudal knights and kills about half of them. Repel the Schwein! Yeah, and so now he's going to, I don't even know, just reform or something. And then here comes my cavalry. And right now I get a message from my ally. He tells me to go attack these ones over here instead of these ones, because he's got these ones apparently. Well, it doesn't really look like it, considering he just lost a couple of bodyguard in there. But I'm going to obey him. And I accidentally started walking my cavalry, so they're not going to hurry along too fast. Intense music. See, we're setting the people that are using the ram on fire, but we're not setting the ram on fire, which is not good. It'd be helpful if we got the ram on fire, although it probably wouldn't do too much in the grand scheme of things. But he's not shooting at the towers really with his cannons. He's getting this one, it's about to die. But I mean, we've already taken quite a toll on them just with tower fire. Not to mention, for some reason, he's decided to switch targets now. Either that or it's just really poor aim, but you know, dismounted feudal knights are about to come up here and just wreck these crossbows. Not good, but And I got a really good charge off here too. Killed them all the way down to like 7 immediately, so I decided to leave these guys because they were useless at this point. So bye. And it was kind of weird, my ally, Chu, he was basically telling me how to play the game for noobs the entire time. I'm not a noob. So, you know, he's like, with Cav, you gotta make sure to get in and out. The reason I kept my Cav in is just not because I really needed them. I just wanted them as a distraction more than anything. But, you know, what are you gonna do? So yeah, they murdered these guys. Not too many of them are gonna escape, but they will get out of there. And then I line up my cavalry because I see this general's bodyguard and the culverines are both over here, pretty undefended. There's only one other unit near them, and it's Pavi's crossbows. They have some feudal knights around here, but they're feudal knights. They're not exactly anti-cavalry. Yeah, Scotland's coming in now as well. And he's going to bring with him the Instrument of Death, aka those mortars that he had. Here they come. And he's going to make sure they're well protected. He's going to take one of his noble pikemen and put them right next to him, as well as some of these Highland archers. And as you can see, I've set up my basilisks, that way it's aiming down this side of the street here, so that way when they try and come, they're going to get unwrecked. Hopefully. Yeah, it's a pretty fearsome courtyard though. But at this point we realized that those mortars were going to just chew us up. So we basically started moving all of our units up against the walls. So that way they get pretty much saved these, well, it kind of saved these catapults. You'll see what happens later, but basically we moved them up against this wall so that way it would hit the walls and the roof instead of the actual catapults, because it'd have to be very precise to get like right down in there. You'd have to get a pretty lucky shot. He's also going to protect his Naftoons. And the one thing that I didn't protect was my basilisks, just because I didn't want to move them back through the spikes, because just putting them there got rid of a few of them already. Just like walking around gets rid of them sometimes. So I was determined not to get rid of any more spikes. So yeah, now we've decided to run run everything, get them hidden up against the walls so that way they don't die. And I believe, yes, I tried to do the cap charge. As you can see, they still had nothing but their general's bodyguard, and instead, look at what happened. I got wrecked. Like, I lost like an entire unit of knights pretty much, which really sucked. And then he knew that about that, so he was gonna post another unit back there at the back of the gates. So my cav advantage basically is now gone. And as you can see, the mortar's trying to crash down. So yeah, I'm trying to sucker up my units up against the walls. And he's gonna put his catapult over here in this corner, which is probably a good thing. So yeah, the next bit of this is going to be a giant artillery pound. And by few, I mean about 15 to 20 minutes. So I guess we'll just admire my units. Good looking pikemen. I have some better ones though over here with full armor upgrades. They look really cool. I really like the pikemen in this game. They're not very useful per se, and they don't get many kills, and they're useless pretty much out of pike formation, but they look sick with good armor upgrades. Yeah. That's my verdict. And so now he's trying to shoot near our generals to try and snipe the general. Not that it would really matter because we're in an infinite morale town square, so even if I lose this guy, it's not going to mean too much to me. It'd be nice to have him to make sure the troops outside are inspired, but it's not like they're necessary. I guess we can just sit here for a while and watch on the minimap what's happening. So as you can see, I'm moving my cavalry around. I basically just got them lined up right back there. Yeah, I was thinking about doing something, then I realized it was a stupid idea. So I'm going to take them back into the castle. And meanwhile, as you can see, Scotland, that's weird. As you can see, Scotland is moving down there, and the Papal States are moving this way. So they're basically going to try and surround us effectively. Yeah. And as you can see, the artillery bombardment is just still coming on. So right now it's hitting right over there. Getting a few Janissary heavy infantry, but other than that, it's just getting like Azabs and stuff, like useless units. And we did lose one catapult, along with a lot of my infantry. We did lose one catapult to the onslaught. And at this point I decided that I needed to skirmish to help kick things off a little bit. So I'm shooting down this alleyway towards these feudal knights, and he's firing back at me with his pavis. Yeah, and if you want to talk about awkward, I was supposed to be going to bed right now to get ready for today, Super Bowl Sunday, and yeah, he came out here and he watched like this entire battle with me pretty much. So I had to do everything, which leads to one of the later decisions that I made. I believe, hopefully I haven't already done it, because I want to show you guys. No, it looks like it's already been done. Basically, my dad's not very a patient person. So he's like, you should charge and attack and do things. This is boring. And I was like, you know what? I'll do it. So I took my cavalry and I charged them into the... Yep, it's already happened. I charged them straight into Halberdier Swiss Guard. And my dad was trying to say like, no, wait, you should stop. This is a bad idea. And I was like, no, you did this. This is what happens when you don't think about your actions. And luckily, I got a charge glitch that made me actually kill a lot of the Swiss Guard. Like, they went down from like 60 to... Wait, stop for a minute, will you? 60 to 32, so I killed about half of them through some stupid charge glitch, which was good, but, I mean, still. I guess that reinforces the lesson of be patient. Don't, especially in sieges, don't try and run around and just don't get peer pressured and try and run around and do everything when you're not ready to do things. You have to try and set up your enemy and play them to your advantages. Play them the way you want to play them instead of letting other people control the way that you play, which I guess is a little bit hypocritical coming from me since I'm a very defensive-minded person and I like to react before acting, which I should probably get out of that habit. But anyways, enough about that. I remember when my last computer was so bad, these barrels were more like square than round. Oh, and there goes one of my basilisks. And that was the one in a good position too, which really sucked. Not to mention it killed all those crew for no reason other than screw you. But yeah, as you can see, we're being surrounded pretty steadily now. The Papal States have set up right here. I tried to duel them with these crossbows. Didn't go too well. Especially because they had to like aim up and over my allies. So I decided to put them out in front of everyone, where they quickly got murdered. But I guess at least they took up a lot of the arrows. Ugh. So yeah, that's that unit gone basically instantly. So as you can see, my ally put some Hashishim up here. Kind of just, not really hiding, but just waiting, basically. And what else is happening? Over here, Scotland has moved some of his units. He's put up a pike unit to protect his cannon, which is firing. I love how they rock back and forth on their wheels when they fire. Good attention to detail, old version of Sega and Creative Assembly, back before you guys sucked. Boom. Yeah, rolling on the wheels, that's really cool. It's a nice touch. Attention to detail, something Sega and Creative Assembly doesn't really have anymore, sadly. But before you ask, I probably will end up getting Attila Total War. Although, I'm not going to make the mistake I did last time of pre-ordering a Total War game, which is probably one of the stupidest things you could ever do, given their track record. But as you can see, he's cutting down my pikemen with missiles. I didn't see this until a little bit later, so I did move them eventually. Yep, there they go. I moved them eventually, but it took me a minute. Sorry guys, I'm still sick. Wait a minute, we should watch this. These two knights are about to charge into these Hashishim. Let's see this. Oh man. This guy's getting double teamed over here. Ooh, he managed to punch one of the Hashishim. Nope, there goes one of the knights. Oh, he's routing. Oh, they poked him, but he's not dead. Good luck, one feudal knight. So yeah, we're gonna pull the Hashishim back as well. And now I have lost my other basilisk. Yay. Oh, we're still in 1.0 speed, huh? I believe the battle has started. Yep. So the first part of the battle is the Highlanders charged into these pike militia. But I have plenty of archers supporting this, so shouldn't do too bad. And we also have some Nafatoons, which routed these Highlanders immediately. Nafatoon effect for the win, by the way. I am a staunch supporter of the Nafatoon effect. And my ally thankfully also brought some Hashishim in to assist the pikes. So the pikes will basically hold them back while the Hashishim do most of the work. Although my guys are going to get a few kills, although with swords is not a very good bet. They're going to get a few over there, but not great results. So yeah, the first engagement is with these Highlanders. They rout pretty quickly, which is good because My pike units were pretty badly out of formation at that point. Sorry guys. I'm really sick. I need to get better. I was sick for like a month a few months ago, like in November I think, and then I was fine and now I'm sick again. And this really sucks. But yeah, as you can see, we spotted this arm over here of the enemy. There's that one freaking dismounted feudal knight still running around aimlessly, like a chicken with its head cut off. As you can see though, this side of the army of the Papal States is pretty weak. They've got a unit of Swiss Guard watching their flank, and then they've got some, although that's kind of moot considering you could literally just run around this way. But as you can see, there's only 3 knight units here, 2 feudal knights, 1 broken lance, and then a pavis. And they're pretty, that pavis at least is tired. These guys are fresh, but that doesn't really matter considering we're fresh too. If a little shot up with arrows. And as you can see, Papal States have moved up to secure this road junction with their cannons, which was not good at all. But I couldn't really do much about them. I'll get zoomed in more so we can see the gaps and everything. So as you can see, the cannon is loading up, getting ready to fire. We did not like this, but there wasn't too much we could do because our cavalry was basically all gone, and on top of that there was a feudal knight right there already. If I had my basilisks, I could have dealt with it, but I don't have my basilisks anymore. So yeah, the main thing we're waiting on now is Kochka's mortar to run out of ammo. Although thankfully he's not using explosive ammos, which is good. He's using regular old stones, which is probably both a good thing and a bad thing. Also, as you can see, we both lost quite a bit of bodyguard, although I've lost significantly more, sadly. Here's my 5 Teutonic cavalry, and then my general is somewhere else. And at this point we decided we needed to take an offensive on, so he moves up his Hashashim to engage with this wave of dismounted feudal knights, and he's also bringing in some his bodyguard unit for some reason, and also his 1 unit of Janissary heavy infantry and his Naftoons, and I'm going to contribute to this with just 1 unit of dismounted feudal knights because I wanted to save my troops for Scotland more than I wanted to use them on the Papal States, because by the way he played, it looked like he wasn't the most experienced with sieges. You know, not to degrade from his skill level or anything, but it just didn't look like he really knew the ins and outs of siege warfare yet, so, you know. And then on this side, the Papal States come swarming in, everything is running in, and thankfully we managed to block this off before it gets too far inside with some dismounted Imperials, some armored sergeants, yes, and some Janissaries, and we basically get to work on these guys immediately. And we have some, I pull out my armored sergeants and leave them as a reserve for later because I don't want to use them just yet. And sadly I found out that Imperial Knights, while they look good, are terrible compared to like regular feudal knights. They can barely even hold their own compared to regular feudal knights. How? And they cost so much more too. They cost like a good number of florins more. Like, how can you have a worse unit that costs more? It's so terrible. So as you can see, we're being attacked. We are attacking the west side. If you're looking at it like this is north, we are attacking the west side. They're attacking from the east side, so it's kind of a switch off. And over here, we are wrecking them. They don't stand a chance, really, at this point. We've got some archers firing in as well, just to up the pain, and the Hashashim and Janissaries are going to work. The Naftoons are doing a little bit, and my dismounted feudal knights are doing quite a bit of work actually, which I'm proud of. They're getting cut down pretty badly, but they're taking a lot of them with them at least. Over here, however, my Imperial Knights are already about half dead, and they've barely killed anyone. The Janissaries have gotten quite a few more kills at this point, because these guys, like, they have maces and which are good armor piercing. Wow, we managed to snipe the one friendly in there. But yeah, as you can see, like, we're getting wrecked by our, like, with armor piercing bonuses and everything, and they still can't hold their own. Although, we are fireballing them with that catapult now. And now they've come in over here, this is going to get defeated pretty quickly. I have a lot of Feudal Knight reserves around here, waiting for this. Not to mention, his troops kind of glitch out on my catapult, so they're not going to do too much. Not to mention a very lucky break. I got 41 of them to rout at the same time. And we're basically just, right now at this point, we're grinding over here. We know we're going to win this, so we're just waiting on that one. The Scots have come back to engage with my Pike Militia, but they can win this pretty easily. Even this amount of Imperial Knights have issues with freaking Highlanders. Like, they have issues. They lost half of their men to Highlanders. Like, so terrible. I'm never getting this unit ever again. And as you can see, though, this side, they're breaking through pretty well. Just because of sheer weight of numbers. The Nafatoons are doing work. The catapult is doing a lot of work, thankfully. Imagine if we had 2 of those instead of just the 1. We could be doing so much right now. Although, at least we still have 1. This guy, I will give him one thing. He was great with his Nafatoon placement. He knew exactly where to put them to minimize friendly fire and everything. What I didn't like was that he poured in his Janissary archers and Ottoman infantry and peasant. Well, I don't care about the peasants, but he poured in his archers into a melee fight, which is basically useless. But yeah, as you can see, I've beat this flank, so I'm going to retreat back to the sides to make sure he can't cannon me up over there. And here comes even more Scottish noble Highland archers and a ton of dismounted feudal knights incoming. And if you'll notice one problem we're having right now, it's that there's a surprising lack of Scottish troops around. And that is because they are all over here. All of these noble swordsmen, they have not engaged in the fight at all yet. And they're going to go up this road, I believe. I don't know. But yeah, they have not engaged in a single fight yet. They are fully healthy, they're fresh. He's walking them, which is a smart move. And neither I nor my ally knew about this at this point in time. Yeah, as you can see, my general's bodyguard's already down to 8, just from that stupid mortar fire.
This battle goes poorly for the Reich. We need to reverse our fortunes.
Yeah, and he's also losing these Nafatoons because he's not really... The Pavis have a good shot on those Nafatoons, and he's not trying to move them or anything. And Nafatoons have pretty bad armor, so... he's basically going to lose these Nafatoons, sadly. But thankfully, my troops are more than enough, really, to finish cleaning up these guys. Even if he pours in his Swiss Guard, there's already only like 15 of them. So, they're not going to do anything at all. Especially with the two-handed glitch. Oh no. Ooh, I think I got run through with that. Ooh, wow, wrecked. Yeah, as you can see, our numbers are already running low in some units. And we haven't really even fought that many units yet, which is not good, but we can't do anything much because we have to keep committing or else we're going to get through these choke points and into the square. That's the Papal States losing half of his army. And sadly, we also lost this last catapult over here from a mortar strike, which is a very sad day because that was probably our best asset at this point, was heavy artillery to get plenty of kills per strike. Although the Nafatoons are filling in admirably, they are killing quite a few of these guys that aren't doing anything even, they're just sitting back here. And yeah, he also rushed in these border horse, and I barely managed to stop them from getting to my crossbows, thankfully. And then I managed to close in on them from 2 sides, and since they're border horse, they suck and they're in a rout. But yeah, we've already lost half of our armies, and we haven't faced like any of Scotland's army yet. We've pretty much killed the Papal States, but we've lost a lot of men already. As you can see, we don't have too many men left over here, only 8, but we're going to get the job done, especially because the tired levels right now are the same, and as you can probably guess, feudal knights are going to be much better than Pavi's crossbows. So yeah, this is basically a grind fest. We also have a few. One Hashashim. Let's see how this guy does. Ooh, he's dead. Oh, he got tripped by a Janissary. Wrecked. I didn't really believe this, to be honest, at this point. He's like, we must change tactics, we're being defeated. And I was like, how are we being defeated? Scotland is pretty much already dead. The Papal States are quickly routing. Because I still didn't know about the horde of noble swordsmen, which are somewhere around here. Where did they go? Ah, they're up here. Yeah, this horde of noble swordsmen. If one artillery strike hit that, wrecked. Yeah. I was pretty confident at this point because we didn't really know about the... I was definitely... I can say for sure that I was not expecting any more Scottish troops other than those ones that were attacking on the southern flank, the Highlanders and such, which have basically now cut down my pike militia. So we're having to commit Hashashim, dismounted Imperial Knights, and some Janissaries to them now, which sucked. Although thankfully that'll be more than enough for some 2 units of Feudal Knights. Yeah. Surprising, the Feudal Knights did okay against, like, armored units. When they go against unarmored units, they're not as good. Probably because they don't have that armor bonus that gives them such a high attack. It's just the defense is so terrible. Oh wow. That Hashashim just wrecked that dude. See, like, their offense is good, but their defense is so terrible. Like, I can't recommend getting them because they won't stay around. They're probably not that as bad of a unit as I'm making them out to be. Like, they can probably be used sometimes, but in this kind of battle, in a grind out defense siege, they're useless basically. They don't have any staying power. Their entire ability lies in the charge, and I didn't get a single charge off. So, you know, they're basically useless. And I know that on my last battle, as Denmark Swissman said that I brought a little bit too many Feudal Knights, and I tried not to do that, and this is the result. I brought a terrible unit. It's not your fault. It's pretty much mine, but just saying, I probably would have brought mostly Feudal Knights if I hadn't decided on a whim to follow, hey, let's follow Swissman's advice and bring something other than my Feudal Knights. Didn't turn out so well. Thankfully, we've broken them at least. And we've pretty much broken all these guys. These armored sergeants held on to the very end. They're at 9 people and they're only shaken. These guys fought to the death, basically, and I'm very proud of that. Because I bought them only pretty much for anti-cav, but I had to use them as infantry later on. Although, the problem is that they're facing armor-piercing axemen. Like, the noble Highland archers are armor-piercing axemen that are pretty much better than some axe units. Yeah, my one armored sergeant's going to continue to fight on, and I report in another 65. Just to make sure this flank holds long enough. Ooh, wrecked. This one dude. See how long he goes for. What I really needed at this point was a Naftune to get these guys out of the way so I could use these troops for different flanks. Like, this is the part where the enemy came in. We did not see this at all until it was way too late. We were like, yeah. I heard this and I was like, what? And then I saw this happen. He's trying to go for my general. Thankfully, he didn't. I've sacrificed the rest of my Teutonic Knights. And so basically now, some fresh Scottish units have broken through in a flank that we didn't even know had troops still. And the problem is this flank is still holding. We need this flank to go away now, at this point, because we need reinforcements now for our other flanks really badly. Notably, this flank and the southern flank, which now has no defenses basically, except for some Hashishim, which thankfully filling quite admirably and managed to hold them off for quite some time. I believe, yep, here come the rest of the noble swordsmen. Still walking. You can see at this point they routed. They were pretty much all Pavis at this point. So thankfully they routed. And then he charges his general in, which was really annoying at this point because we needed to move on now, and we couldn't afford to keep too many troops here at this point. But he still has like these generals, bodyguard, and these Pavis. And then on top of that, Scotland also has a border horse unit, so we still can't leave that flank undefended. Although thankfully we cut down those units. Wow, that one knight just got 3 kills at once. Swag. But yeah, as you can see. Ooh. Yeah, as you can see, it's not going well at all on this little pocket part over here. I've thrown in some armored sergeants, which are doing terribly against sword units. And I also threw in a couple of dismounted feudal knights, 2 of them at this point, so they're not going to contribute too much to this fight. Although thankfully now we have extra reinforcements in pretty much all of my remaining feudal knights, which that guy just wrecked, and some janissaries. And we're still trying to clean up on this flank, down to 53 spearmen over here.
Thank the Lord! Our men have slain the enemy general.
And there goes the Papal States General. And there goes the Papal States. So now, it's Scotland, and we thought, well, we've pretty much won at this point. There's only a few Scottish units left. Ha ha ha, ha ha ha, ha ha ha, ha 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 ha. JK. This is not good. There's about 6 fresh units of noble swordsmen with a lot of upgrades coming straight towards what's left of our army, which is basically all in the 10s and 20s. As you can see, pretty much all in the 10s and 20s, and can mount no significant defense whatsoever. Thankfully we managed to cut down these border horse, so we don't have to worry about these and the rest of these dismounted feudal knights. So we don't have to worry about this flank anymore, and that frees up a lot of sergeants and sergeant spearmen and about 30 dismounted feudal knights, which will perform pretty well. Although this freaking flank is still holding, and he's about to start throwing in his noble pikemen. Yep, here they come. Yeah. As you can see, there's some problems with this. That guy just punched that guy in the face and stab. Nice. Yeah, as you can see, he also has his mortar crew in there, which are obviously performing crappily. Yep, there goes that one. And since I didn't know this, I committed more units to this side, because I saw the pike militia, and I was like, this must be like the last units of Scotland. We have to defeat them here, so I decided to throw these guys in. Hey, there's an attitude. Don't know where that came from exactly. Ah, back here. And at this point, I was like, how are we being defeated? We've murdered, like, everyone. And we lined up here. We lined up here to await something. When in reality, the Scots are now running down this side to try and catch us off guard. There's 3 units this way, and I believe there's another 3 coming in from some other side. Yeah, here come these noble pikemen, and we have absolutely 14 janissaries to defend this. And not to mention they're getting eaten apart by arrows. And not to mention those 3 dismounted feudal knights which are coming back. And on this side we have 7 janissary archers to hold off this. And then we spotted these noble swordsmen, and we were like, wait, there's more units? Although we still didn't think that there was any more coming, and on this side we were actually prepared. We were waiting for them. Although at this point most of my allies' forces are like Azabs and stuff, and most of my units are now armored sergeants and stuff. Although I do have some good forces of feudal knights, like those 30 that I talked about earlier. The crossbows are still pretty plentiful, and they've got some ammo left. They've only used about 2/3 of their ammo. This side, my units that were over here broke, and now I'm pulling these units over because I see this coming, and they also charged his general straight through here, which sucked.
Mein Lord! We have lost control of the city.
So yeah, he basically runs over these Janissaries and floods in, catches these guys in the flank that are trying to form up in the middle of the city to prepare for this. So yeah, not going too well. Thankfully, this unit managed to stop these guys from flanking around, although his general's bodyguard gets right up at the back, which is terrible. And on this side, even over here with all this infantry, we're not going to, we can't win this.
We must change tactics.
Just because these guys are pretty much fresh already, and not to mention we're now getting slammed in the back, and that murdered a lot of people. Although thankfully I've got some spearmen around in the back to help kill some Scots. And on this side it's pretty much defenseless. There's a few Janissaries. There's one Janissary. Oh, I remember this guy. He murdered quite a few pikemen before he died, inevitably. Yeah. If you probably couldn't guess what's about to happen, I'm about to get flanked in the back right over here on this flank, which was our second strongest flank, basically.
Our enemy has command of the city.
And at this point, we would need a miracle to do anything at this point.
Our allied general has been slain. Avenge him.
And that's pretty much all the Turks, because the Azabs are weak. Not to mention my ally admits defeat in a few seconds here. I am a Holy Roman Emperor. I would never admit defeat, so I am going to try and stab him up with my general. I got one. Oh, he's got another one. That's two. No one really even cares yet. There's 3. There's 4. There's 5. There's 6. This is a true Holy Roman general over here. There's 7. That's 7 kills. Yep, there's my ally admitting defeat. And my general now is surrounded. That's 8.
Our Dunkopf general has thrown his life away. Perhaps our chances of victory.
He might be a Doomkopf general, but he fought like a lion right there. As will the remainder of my men. They get a few kills. Not too great of an end performance here, but enough to kill pretty much everyone around here. And dead. And I believe there's one. Nope, there's. Yep, this is the last guy. Nope.
Battle is lost, and we have failed the Empire.
We have failed the Empire. So yeah, that's the end of that battle. As you can see, we both lost every single man. I got 663 kills, 209 prisoners, and RM got 605 kills, so slightly less than me, and 167 captures, so slightly less than me. Nightkiller lost pretty much all of his army, and he got 784 kills and 25 captures. Kochka 23, only lost about half of his army, and killed about 1,200 people. Average defeat, not too bad. Although, as you can see, my army on the whole was not very effective, sadly. Like, the most kills I got was, like, in a unit was these 68 from the Feudal Knights. My Basilisk apparently got 1 kill. Yeah, 68 was the best number today from a Feudal Knight unit, which is pretty crappy. But anyways, that's that, so I hope you enjoyed this battle, and I will see you all next time. Goodbye.